Welcome to It's Only Halftime. My name is Dr. Andreas Betcher. I'm a functional medicine practitioner, chiropractic physician with a bachelor's degree in health and exercise science, a master's men's physique competitor, and three-time Ironman triathlete who's overcome his own autoimmune condition and low testosterone without any medications. And I've now made it my mission and passion to help other men realize their true potential in life, pharmaceutically independent whenever possible. And today, I've got a very special guest who's become actually a good friend of mine, one of our most valuable clients inside of our IOH community here, of men who've committed to reset, to refocus, and reignite their true health potential. And he's got an amazing story and a transformation to inspire us all, including me, on his journey through the peak performance protocol. So I want you to help me welcome, obviously, Jason Knight here to this interview as we talk a little bit about his journey. So, if you could, Jason, tell us a little bit about yourself, your age, what you do for a living, just a little bit about your background, and then we'll jump into how we met and how we got started.
Yeah, sure. Again, my name is Jason. I'm 59 years old and about 3 months away from hitting my sixth decade. I work in the school system, been there for 33 years. Right now, I focus work on students with struggles, students on the autistic spectrum, those things. So very, very active work during the day. Um, Married, have two kids and two amazing grandchildren. So those are the light of my life and part of my why. So.
Yeah, well, that's a strong why, and you
Mm.
definitely need that around here when it comes to it's only halftime because we don't believe any fads and any quick fixes or any gimmicks. We do believe in doing the work because it is the work that makes you healthy.
Mhm.
So let's give everybody who's watching a sense, how did we meet? What inspired you to take action with our approach? Because there is so much noise in the marketplace today. And it makes it very difficult for someone like myself to stand out. What is it about what we did? What attracted you to what we are doing here? And where were you when we first started?
So we first started, I was out of shape, fatigued, um, dealt with some autoimmune disorders, high blood pressure. I was looking for a way to change that and get better. I have to admit, I kind of went towards the um, hormone replacement thing because they were saying older guys, hormone replacement. Um, Found out that that was definitely not for me. Too many problems with it and that. So it's like there had to be a better way. Came across your site. It's only halftime. Watched that initial video about how you talk about what the program does and what it is. And I said, I have nothing to lose, everything to gain. I really liked where you came from with your philosophy and your approach. My wife is a dietitian, so um, had to run some stuff by her too, and she said it sounded like it was a good way to go. So that's how we started. Did our initial call.
Yeah, and it was a great meeting. And let's expand a little bit. You had mentioned or touched upon TRT because so many guys just feel like that's inevitable. And a lot of guys are being told that that's inevitable. And yet we're proving that is not the case every single day here. Why was TRT not for you? What was your experience?
Well, I had tried TRT. I first tried the cream and had a terrible reaction to it. I ended up having a whole body allergic reaction to the ingredients that they used. That was terrible when you have a rash from head to toe, including the bald head. I mean that's pretty bad when it gets to that. Tried the injection, which I wasn't a real fan of. Reacted poorly to that, and going, my body is telling me that this is not the way to go. Um, and then from when I was doing that, there wasn't any nutrition aspect to it. There was no exercise aspect to it. It's just like this was going to solve your problems.
Yeah.
And for me, it just created more.
Right. So, I mean, that was the initial, when you had that consultation with the doctor, was it just a myopic, just zoomed in on testosterone and that was it? Nothing else was talked about? No diet, no lifestyle, no fitness, nothing?
No, it was basically just the testosterone. Here's your numbers. We'd like to see your numbers get to here. So here's what we're going to use, whether it's the cream or the injection, to try and get your numbers up. And then when I had problems with the testosterone, there was, well, we don't know what we can do for you, because they didn't have any other options other than the TRT, because that was a product that they were selling.
Right, got it. And did you at least feel any benefit while you were on the cream or the injections?
I wasn't even on it long enough to be able to do anything with it, because the cream I was on for maybe a few weeks before I had the bad reaction. I took one injection and I had a knot that formed where the injection site, and that did not go away for about 3 or 4 weeks. And I only did one because with that doing that, it's like, no, I'm not doing this anymore.
Right. And here's the thing too, and I want to be completely transparent, and we do promote a natural alternative here. And sometimes there is a time and place for some of these interventions. But what we do find is that most of the hidden causes behind the declining testosterone in men is insulin resistance, chronic low-grade inflammation, excess body fat, and an imbalance of all of the hormones, not just testosterone, but looking at estrogen and prolactin and DHEA and pregnenolone and free testosterone and SHBG and albumin and so forth. It's really about bringing harmony to the system, because we've got guys that feel like rock stars that are in the 400s, and I've got guys that come to me that are in the 1200s that still feel like crap and that are on TRT. And it sounds like you were one of those guys when we first started. I know you weren't feeling your best. Tell us a little bit about where you were physically and mentally.
Physically, I couldn't do a whole lot. I mean, it wasn't bad. I could go mow my yard, and I could do stuff like that. But anything that took any real endurance, any real strength, I was kind of lacking in that. Um, with the first grandchild that came in, getting down on the floor to play with them, and then getting myself back up off the floor, um, took a little bit of doing. Um, with my job there again, there's a lot of mental um, acuity needed, and being able to shift quickly in that. My brain was kind of somewhat foggy, as it were. Um, I deal with a little bit of ADHD that came into play. Um, yeah, I'd come home and I was tapped. There was nothing left for my wife. Um, I just kind of laze around when I got home because I just couldn't really do anything. And I was starting to get involved with a group that liked to do kayaking, biking, hiking, and I was struggling with some of the activities that we were doing if they went for any length of time.
Hmm. Yeah, and I hear this story all too often, and it's really the mission behind the work that we do here, because it doesn't have to be that story. You and I are nothing special at our age. I'm not quite, where you are. I'm 55 at the time of this video, but this whole declining average and expanding waistlines and low energy and low libido is the new normal, I always say, is the biggest lie. And so when we did our initial consultation together, I know you had some healthy level of skepticism. What was your experience in our initial meeting and the consultation like for guys that are watching that are maybe considering doing the same?
I like how you really walked through each piece explaining um, what your protocol was. The dietary part of it, the part about looking at the different labs, the blood sugars, like you said, the thyroid, the prolactin, estrogen, all those different things, including vitamins and that vitamin B12 and folate issue with methylation that you've checked, that seems to be such a huge issue. That seems like that was part of my issue as well. And then inflammation that was there. My body was so full of inflammation that not only did I look like I was a little bit heavy, but my face was puffy. Um, you know, my legs would hurt, my ankles didn't get really puffy, but my feet felt it at the end of the day. So yeah, I walking through all those aspects really helped me go, okay, this guy is looking at the whole picture. He's not looking at one little piece. He's looking at the whole picture. And that's just like, okay, this guy seems like he's got it together, and this looks like something that I can be um, a one fit grandpa at one point in time once I get going with this.
Yeah, and we'll come back to that part in a moment because we got a great photograph I want to share you working out with your son-in-law. We'll come to that in just a moment. But once you said yes to the protocol, talk a little bit about your onboarding experience, being that this is a telehealth practice. What was the experience like for you working with me, getting the labs drawn, getting the data, the reports? Was it easy to understand, easy to implement? Talk us a little bit about your experience in the onboarding phase.
Oh, absolutely. The Getting the blood tests done were easy through a local provider here. Just made an appointment and got that quick. I was given the results sent to me, and I know you got the results sent to you as well. So I kind of looked at them and looked up, went on Google search to find out what some of these different things meant before we had a chance to meet. But when we got online together and you talked about it, you got very specific about the different meanings of the different labs, what they were doing. So it was very clear to me what each number meant and where it should be compared to where it was, and some of the implications of where those numbers were. You also gave me all the printouts that you had on the program as far as nutrition went. Uh, it was very clear, very explanatory. I just looked at the sheets. It gave me a clear um, diet to follow on my training days and on my non-training days, with a lot of flexibility. That's the thing too, is with a lot of the programs that come in, is like that you have these scripted diets, and it's just like those seem to be difficult to follow because it's just exactly. But man, I started eating food that I wasn't eating before, like steaks and chicken and vegetables and stuff like that. And I was really enjoying the meals that I had. And in fact, I'm taking my meals to work and stuff like that. And it's just like coworkers would come in and says, "Man, you're eating some great stuff. That's some healthy stuff." And they're dropping down fast food and stuff like that. Um, but it was very easy to follow. That was the biggest thing. Is it's like it didn't really take much effort. It took a little bit getting used to shopping the way I did, but yeah, it worked out really well. And then the workouts, having that app that you have, that step by step each day, what your workout's going to be, reps, sets, even a timer in between sets and stuff like that, just was such an easy thing to follow. So it was a very easy program to drop right into after we had our call. And then the weekly update calls were
Mm.
just, they were encouraging. You're very prompt in answering questions, even just through the app. If it was in between times that we were getting together on Zoom, you would still respond to a question usually within hours, and that was fantastic.
Well, I appreciate that. We do pride ourselves on being a concierge practice and delivering a white glove service. And I don't farm any of our clients off to anyone else. Everyone works directly, with me. And we pride ourselves on that. Going back to the food, though, for a moment, because a lot of guys are so afraid that they're going to be giving up something, or what kind of diet are you following? Is this sustainable? What would be your response to that guy?
The food is fantastic. You're not giving up anything except the junk. So and that stuff didn't do me any good, and it's not going to do any of the other guys any good too. It's really not that great of food anyways. Um, I was eating, well, on workout days it says 5 meals, and I'm like, how in the world am I going to be able to get 5 meals in? But there again, steak, chicken, fresh vegetables. It was fantastic. I didn't feel like I was missing out on anything at all. And there
Did you
again,
find it hard to get in all the calories sometimes? Because a lot of guys are surprised by how much food I allow them to eat and still lose the weight and get in shape.
that did throw me. I have to admit that threw me on the days that I'm eating 5 meals, and I'm like, how in the heck am I going to lose any weight with this?
Hmm.
But with everything that was working, the weight just started to melt off, and I'm like, holy cow. And then you have the days that were intermittent fasting days, and I'm like, oh, I don't know how I'm going to be able to intermittent fast on these days. And because my body is being fueled up on those other days, it was not a problem at all. I'm just like, I almost have to set an alarm and go, oh, it's time to eat now because I've done intermittent fasting. And that really threw me. I did not expect that at all.
Yeah. And where were you when you started with your weight?
I was about where was I at? I was about almost 230, I think.
Yeah. And
So
where
it
are you
was,
today?
what's that?
And where are you today?
I'm at 195 now.
Yeah, and you
So
look absolutely amazing. And I'm going to flash a
mhm.
picture up on the screen. Tell us about this moment when you had this workout with your son-in-law, who's 28. You had posted it inside of our app, in our community, and you're both just sitting there flexing your guns with each other. Tell us what that moment felt like, because like you mentioned before, you had just surrounded yourself with a group where you're going to be more active and wanted to do
Mhm.
kayaking, and you felt like you had all this power that you didn't have before. Tell us a little bit about that.
So yeah, it was fun. My son-in-law is very fit. He does ballet, and you have to be fit to do ballet, and you have to be strong. He's also a firefighter paramedic,
Wow.
and so and he is about being strong. So he always kind of would give me a hard time and show me his muscle, flex a little bit. And I'm like, I says, you be careful because I'm working on things now. And I think we've been working for about, I don't know if it was about 5 months that we were working together. And I went and visited him and I says, I'm going to keep going to the gym. And he goes to the gym. So it's like, hey, let's go work out together. So that's kind of what that moment was. And we got the flex together and I could show him that this old guy still had it in him.
Yeah, was he surprised to see the new father-in-law?
Oh yeah, he was impressed. He's like, "Wow, you've been really doing some work." So
Yeah.
that
Well,
was
you've
neat.
invested and built quite the home gym that I'm quite jealous of. It's well, nice setup.
Well, I that was the hard thing too, is getting to the gym that had the equipment that I needed to to do, which you don't need a lot of. I shouldn't say you don't need a lot of equipment.
That's
Um,
true, you don't. Yeah.
it's just more the basic stuff that you have that, just dumbbells or a barbell, that type of thing. And you can go to any gym and do that stuff. To me, getting to the gym was a big point that was difficult. I
Mhm.
couldn't get to the gym, and the one that was close to me and my work and that was a very small gym. There wasn't enough equipment to work on. So I figured, it costs so much per month to have a gym membership. If I just spent that money on equipment at home, then after about a year, now I start going into the positive because I'm not spending that month to month and it's in my basement. So I have a routine. So I work and get up kind of early. So I get up in the morning before I go to work and do my workout. And one of the things that does is that helps set my mind and my body primed up, ready to go for the day.
Yeah. It's no better way to start the day. I call it movement meditation. It's like brushing and flossing teeth at this point, right? And it becomes so ingrained in your DNA. And so, a question that I was just thinking about, because we're going to get to some of your before and after, not only just in the weight loss and the body fat that you've lost, but your lab markers have significantly improved. Are you still having any of the effects of quote unquote low testosterone today? Where are you with that? And have you seen your testosterone doctor since this journey?
He actually did because he's next to an office that I go to. So I popped in. They looked at me and says, "What are you doing? You're doing something," because they could see the change in the drop in the weight, but the gain in the muscle. And they said, "What are you doing?" So I had to tell them what I was doing, and they're like, they couldn't say too much because they didn't want to go against the product that they're selling.
Right.
So that was pretty good, but the inflammation was way down. Um, I don't have the joint pain that I used to have, which is kind of strange. You think I'm lifting heavier weights and stuff like that. And as an old guy, you would think, okay, that's going to start putting stress on joints and stuff like that. Um, but some of that stress is good if your body's working as it should. And now that it's working as it should, I have much better range of movement. I talked about getting on the floor with my granddaughter. I can pick her up and get up off the floor holding her. And that was not something that I was going to be doing before. Um, I was on blood pressure medication, which has dropped down to almost nothing,
Mhm.
which is fantastic. My doctor couldn't believe that. He's like, okay, yeah, I want you to start taking readings and send me readings for like a month of everyday readings to
Right.
show that it had dropped significantly as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I've made a career. I've been doing this for over 33 years, and I've lost track of the thousands of patients and clients I've had over the years that no longer need the medications they were once sentenced to, and how many doctors have been left speechless on how that could be possible just through lifestyle modification. Is it really that simple?
Yeah, it is. It is that simple. And just there again, because I'm eating the right foods to fuel my body, I'm taking the right supplements to reduce the inflammation and get rid of some of the junk that my body had held on to.
Mhm.
Um, Even strangely enough, which is kind of weird, but I don't know. I mean, you know the science behind it, but my beard now, I've earned my gray hairs in my beard and that, and I will, proudly hold on to that. But it seems like some of the gray has kind of gone back a little bit, and I've gotten back a little bit more color in the beard than I had before, which that was something that was also surprising.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all interconnected. And what we really try to focus on, what I try to get guys to understand is health is really not that complicated. It has been overcomplicated by a lot of the fads, the gimmicks, the nonsense, the BS, quite frankly. It's just robbing men blindly while they still leave with the unwanted problems that are the cause. And when you start addressing root issues, the whole system starts to function better, everything starts to improve. I mean, your C-reactive protein is plummeted in half, your homocysteine has gone down, your testosterone has gone up, you've maintained your free testosterone while your testosterone went up. And so all the markers have been continuing improving, and you're feeling the effects of it. What advice or suggestions do you have for anyone who's contemplating, booking a consultation, wants to learn more about the peak performance protocol? What advice do you have for them?
Biggest one is consistency. Once you get going on this and you decide that this is something you want to do to invest in yourself and your health, which also in turn ends up being an investment to your family because you're going to have more energy for them, your attitude and your demeanor is going to be better. Uh, just being consistent with it, following the protocol, sticking with it, putting in the effort, putting in the work. At first, it is a little bit hard. You're working out, if especially if you haven't worked out for a while, it takes a little bit of time for your body to get used to that movements. But once you get going, if you stick with that consistency, the results are amazing, and you don't have to wait long for them either.
Yeah.
That is the thing too, is it's like I could start seeing those changes right off the bat. People around me knew I was doing something, could see some of the changes. I went to a men's retreat this past weekend, and I haven't seen most of these guys for a year. They were amazed at the transformation and how I looked. So,
Yeah.
yeah, consistency, sticking with the program, sticking with the protocol, um, which there again, it's not difficult. You just, once you get into a routine and it becomes a habit, then you don't have to think about it too much.
Yeah, and that's a good point, because a lot of guys think they need to upend their entire life. I mean, we're not fitness influencers, right? I'm a business owner. You're working in your field, and we have lives, we have families, we have kids, right? We have grandkids. How did this really take anything away from you time wise, or was it really easy to put into your life? And is it now sustainable?
Oh, absolutely sustainable. It did take me a little bit of shuffling my time and refocusing my time, but we're talking refocusing my time, coming home, plopping into a chair and scrolling through social media and junk like that. Um, that was it. I mean, now I've shifted my work. I did my workouts in the afternoon. I've shifted them to the morning to free up my afternoon. But there again, I really like the benefits from working out in the morning, and I still have that afternoon. I still have that energy to be able to do the stuff that I want to do afterward. We sometimes we'll go bike riding for about 10 or so miles after I get off of work, and it's just like that was not something that I could have done before. So it's just prioritizing time. It doesn't take a lot of time.
Yeah, it really comes down to priorities. You said that beautifully, and it made me think too about, the supplement protocol that we put together for you, because we use our own physician grade supplements at IOHnutrition.com. What was your experience with the supplements and the protocol, and learning about how to use them appropriately?
I liked how they were broken up throughout the day. So, because I know sometimes some vitamins and some supplements don't, you take them all at one time, and sometimes different compounds will kind of wash each other out a little bit and they don't work as much. So, the fact that you have it so split out so specifically was really helpful as well. Taking the multivitamin, I could feel the energy from that taking it when I did. Um, the vitamin D, the testosterone support. Yeah, it just how it was set up seemed to work really well. I never ended up with upset stomachs or any issues with taking in supplements that can sometimes happen with supplements. Never had a problem with that following that protocol.
Yeah, no, that's great. And in terms of the app and the community that you've been a part of, you've been so integral in supporting a lot of the guys. What's been your experience with the app and the community that men get to be a part of when they join?
Well, the app itself is fantastic. Just having that, like I said before, with the workouts, having each day I click on the workout and it gives the specific, each set, how many reps for each set. It's got a timer for in between the sets. I don't really even need to think about it. It's all set up and ready to go. Then once I'm done with it and I hit that save and stuff, it posts it to the group that I've completed the workout, and it's kind of fun too when it shows it's like, hey, Jase has made 3 new records and stuff like that, and that's really kind of exciting. So when you increase your weights or your reps or something, it goes that. And so the other guys in the community is really fantastic. They're saying, hey, way to go. They're giving you high five, virtual high fives and celebrations. And then we've had some conversations too for some people that are further along than others to say, hey, how is this working for you? What are you doing to be successful in that? And it is really cool to be able to have that back and forth and work with each other on it. And I don't know these guys and even where they're at, but it's fun to see the process that they're going through as well.
Yeah, it's a true community, and you guys lift me up as much as hopefully I lift each and every one of you up every day. Honestly, you keep me accountable myself.
And I have to say that the motivation, the little, I don't know, for lack of a better word, articles or that you post in there that you write for motivation, they are fantastic because they don't only just address the physical aspect of it, but the mental aspect of going into it as well. Because you have to be dedicated and you have to want to be better. And so those things that you do are very encouraging because sometimes, as with anything, sometimes things go on and okay, so the changes slow down a little bit, which is a normal process. And it's pushing through those things and also helping to keep the motivation for prioritizing things as well. And so those have been extremely helpful as well.
Well, it's been an honor to have you part of the group. I know the guys have enjoyed interacting with you. You've been a great support to them all. What final bit of words of advice or wisdom do you have for anyone who's watching this right now that is where you were in deciding whether to, come on board with us, book a consultation, or just take charge of their health, whether that's with me or someone else?
Yeah, it definitely taking charge of your health. And you are an investment. You are an investment to yourself because quality of life, like I said, I'm just knocking on the door of my 6th decade. I feel better than I did when I was in my 30s. And so investing in my health, investing in my family, because I want to be around for as long as I can, especially for those grandkids. I want to be healthy when I'm around. And I also want them to see me making my health a priority. So it's an investment in yourself that's going to pay huge dividends down the road. I'm thinking it's like, man, if I keep going the way I'm at, I'm gonna be 70 and I'm still gonna be giving my son-in-law a run for his money.
And that's awesome. And that's absolutely what we live here for, is to die young as late as possible, as I always like to say. And here's the thing is that when you take a preventive, proactive approach like this, you never know what you prevent when you take action today. Had you not taken action, where do you think you would be now, or even 5 years from now, if things had
Yeah.
continued where you were?
Well, I was fighting the blood pressure. In fact, I was going the other direction with blood pressure. It was continuing to get worse. The doctor was adding more medication to it before I started doing this, instead of now backing it off to almost nothing. With that comes risk of kidney problems, the risk of heart issues. My heart is healthy. I mean, I had to go for my annual physical, and there's nothing. I mean, my doctor literally could say nothing about where I was at. My blood pressure was looking good. My heart's good. The labs that he ran, they were all great. In fact, they've improved over the past physicals. So it was just an amazing process, and how healthy I was. So I don't know. I probably would be sitting in my recliner a lot more than I am now, and I'm going out there kayaking and having fun. Um, One little story is we were kayaking on a river that was moving quite swiftly, and one of the guys went over. And so a couple people got him. Well, now his kayak is deciding it's going to go downstream pretty darn quick. And so, being as fit as I am now, I could really power and go get that thing, grab it, and then slowly work my way back a little bit because of that strength that I hadn't had before. There's no way would have been able to do it. I would have been one of these guys float tubing with a cooler because
Right.
that was all I could do.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't know if you want to talk about this or not, but your wife has definitely taken notice too. I know last time we spoke.
Oh yeah, it's like um, she's noticed my attitude has changed, my demeanor has changed, and that's the thing too. A lot of things don't get talked about. The mental aspect of getting yourself healthy, getting rid of some of that inflammation. So she's noticed that as well. And I have to say, for being an almost 60-year-old guy, I'm not going to be having to take any of those medications and stuff that you constantly see ads for in Facebook and those other things. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's the best part. I mean, that's what we're all about, to be pharmaceutically independent whenever possible. And that's our entire mission, is to help men like yourselves become independent of all doctors, including myself. Before we wrap up, any last final words that you want to leave with?
if you're really looking to improve your health and really to make some changes and make that second half the better half, because in my case, it's definitely the better half. This is definitely something you need to look into and really consider doing because, again, for me, it's been phenomenal. Um, you can start with the 90 days and go with that. For me, the way that this has been working for me and the relationship with Dr. Andreas and the motivation and the workouts, we're probably just a few months away from having working about a year now. So, and I plan on continuing for a while because the program's fantastic, the support is fantastic, and I feel better than I ever have.
Well, the feeling's mutual. I'm looking forward to our journey together into our golden years, into our community. I want to thank you for taking time out of your day and sharing your story and journey. And for those of you who are watching this video and want to learn more about how you can get your own peak performance protocol that all starts with a complimentary consultation, you can visit itsonlyhalftime.com to learn more about our peak performance protocol and how to book that consultation. There'll also be links below this video, depending on where you're seeing it. I like to make myself available. We're a true white glove concierge practice, as you've just heard. And we'd love to be able to welcome men who want to be able to turn their second half into their best half when they declare it's only halftime today. Thank you for watching. All right. Awesome, my friend.
That work?
That is perfect. Oh my God, I'm so grateful for you. Thank you.
Well, I am grateful for you because, I mean, like I had said, there's a few people that I credit with helping me move from where I was at and to where I am now, to where I'm healthy, strong, physically, mentally, spiritually. Just, it's been an amazing thing.